Hey everybody. Uh, Welcome to our 10th episode of Unfiltered, which is our new interview series with our photographers. We're doing these bi-weekly. So we did one 2 weeks ago with Trina Kassinger, which was awesome. We had a great conversation. And today we're going to be talking to Caroline Martin, who is a Richmond-based photographer. Okay, if you're just joining us, this is an interview series that we're doing now with our photographers called Unfiltered. Today we have Caroline joining us. Hello, everybody. I'm seeing these people join in. What is up? And Caroline will be joining us. Hey,
Hi,
how's it going?
pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just settling in.
Awesome.
So, uh, I just want to do a quick introduction of you, if that's all right.
Sure.
Caroline grew up with a camera in her hand and is a frequent traveler, loves trying new foods and meeting new people. Uh, she graduated with a BFA in photography and also studied film in San Jose and Costa Rica. San Jose, Costa Rica. Uh, and she has photographed for clients such as USAA Magazine, Charleston Magazine, WNC, Grand Strand, Virginia Business Magazine, World Magazine, Tidewater, and Toll, I think is how you pronounce that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Virginia Living Magazine, Greater Richmond, GRID, and many more. And she also serves on the board of ASMP, the American Society of Media Photographers, but I bet most of the people who are watching this know what ASMP is. So, hello.
Hi. Nice to see everybody virtually.
So, um, what have you been up to recently? And what are you doing during this global pandemic?
Well, I guess a lot and a little at the same time. Like a lot of things I hadn't been doing before, I guess. Going outside a lot, taking a lot of walks, cooking, um, things like that. I guess things are starting to pick up a little bit, but the first month or two definitely took some adjusting. Work basically dropped off completely for the first couple months because I do shoot a lot of events and commercial work. So all of that was just on hold. Um, so yeah, mostly just kind of was figuring out what I should do with my photography. So I kind of went out and documented some of the things going on around my city, trying to still stay safe and at a distance and all that. So kind of did a little bit of documentary photography of some of the local shops and business owners and just what's going on. I live near a place called Carytown in Richmond, so some Richmonders or locals might know what that is. Um,
So, I know of Carytown because I have cousins who live there, and it's such a cool
oh,
place.
yeah, yeah, it's very like artsy. There's a lot of little local restaurants and shops and things, and that area in particular was hit pretty hard with COVID, and like all of the restaurants pretty much had to close for a period of time. A lot of them are open back up now, doing to-go orders and things like that, but that was hard. I kind of just walked around there a few times and ran into some shop owners and talked to them about what was going on, how they were feeling about it. Got a couple of portraits of them, so that was pretty powerful.
Cool. And I'm going to rewind a little bit. We had done a feature of a project that you did on our blog that we
Mm-hmm.
published around May. So I'm betting that that was shot pretty much right before all this happened.
That was shot last May,
Oh,
2019. Yeah,
okay.
so not right before, but that was one of my last like big projects for 2019.
Cool. And that project, just to give people some background, you can check it out. There's a whole write-up on our blog, and you can see the pictures. But the idea was that in a 1.5 day span, Merchant Square, which is a shopping district in Richmond, wanted to get a lot of photography that looked like it was shot during golden hour, and you were
Mhm.
forced to fake golden hour during daytime. So, what was that like? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. So actually, Merchant Square's in Williamsburg, um, in
Oh,
which
okay.
is kind of like Hampton Roads area. To clarify. So the shot list that they wanted, we only had a day, 1 to 2 days. They had a good amount of shots on their shot list, and most of them they wanted to be during golden hour, which obviously was impossible since it's 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. Um, so
Hmm.
yeah, I had to kind of scout out the locations ahead of time and pick the best times of day that maybe things would be shaded enough or not in direct sun, so that I could kind of set up my strobes to recreate the golden hour effect. Um, so we had a few challenges with that, but I think scouting it out ahead of time definitely helped to figure out what kind of light we were going to be dealing with that day. So I was successfully able to recreate the golden hour effect on pretty much all the shots that they wanted. And some of the wider shots that would have been harder to create, I actually did shoot at golden hour. So yeah, it turned out good.
Yeah, there was one photo that we featured in the article of an older couple eating dinner, and there's a behind the scenes
Mm-hmm.
shot where it looks like it's middle of the day, and then you see the final shot, and it's really convincing. I think you did an awesome job with that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a little bit challenging because I did scout out that location ahead of time, and the lighting ended up. Well, we ended up having to shoot that a little earlier than expected. So, like even 30 minutes earlier can make a difference in light. So, I had to have my assistants shade pretty much the entire scene, and then I just recreated the light from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, something that I noticed just looking through your Instagram, and you had mentioned it to me, was that you do a lot of travel photography and traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I saw just in a little bit of research that you have pictures on your Instagram from Hawaii, Australia, St. Lucia, Joshua Tree,
Mm-hmm.
Yosemite. So,
Yeah.
what's it like not being able to do that right now?
It's hard. Yeah, because I live to travel. Like I love planning trips. Try to go somewhere during the slow season. Slow season for me is usually January, February, March. I try to go somewhere for at least a couple weeks. Like Australia, I was there for a month last year, just kind of hanging out and exploring. So this year I had planned to go to Europe. I've never been to Europe at all. So I had a couple countries in mind that I wanted to go to, and then COVID hit like right before I was going to book everything. So yeah, it's kind of been humbling in a way because it's like, okay, I'm just going to enjoy my city now and just like, I guess I've kind of like rediscovered some things about Richmond that I had forgotten were really cool. And just been able to go outside a lot and do some more active things. So I'm kind of like filling the void in that way, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, but still kind of looking forward to like maybe next year planning a bigger trip or something like that if things slow down. So I'm doing a little research on where I might want to go. But yeah, it's been kind of hard.
Is photography a central part of these trips? So when you go, are you planning on shooting? Do you ever leave your camera at home?
For the most part, yeah, it's like half and half. Like I definitely want to do some photography while I'm there because I love travel and documentary and just kind of capturing the landscape, capturing the people, and just the whole experience. But then I also do want to just enjoy being there. So it depends. Like when I went to Australia, I definitely took my camera on certain day trips and things like that. But then other times I did leave it at home because I just wanted to hike or just kind of walk around the city. So a little of both.
Hmm. Some
Yeah.
of the pictures that you have from Hawaii are from a super high vantage point, and I was wondering if how you shot those, basically.
Uh, those were from a helicopter, actually. Yeah, I've done a couple of helicopter rides. I've done one in St. Lucia, that was the first one, and then two in Hawaii. So whenever I go to a place that I know is going to be really scenic, I'm like, okay, how can I get in the air? And I don't really want to do the drone thing because like I want to actually be in the air too and
Hmm.
get that experience. So that was like one of the most amazing things I did in Hawaii. The, I guess it was about 2 years ago now that I did that.
Cool.
So yeah,
Um, and then on in more recent events, obviously the protests that happened a couple weeks ago, you mentioned that you got involved with a magazine in Richmond documenting some of that.
yeah, a little bit. So I wasn't actually in the middle of the protests or anything documenting in that way, but I got a few assignments from Virginia Business Magazine to capture some environmental portraits of some of the shop owners who had their shops looted and their windows broken and things like that. So I was able to kind of talk to them about what happened and how they're dealing with it. So that was sad, definitely.
And what what was it like in Richmond right when COVID hit? You know, how long did it take people to sort of adjust to the fact that that was actually happening?
Um, it was weird. Yeah, I feel like it was like March 8th or something like that when we first kind of heard that stuff was ramping up here and everybody was like, "Oh, well, it'll probably be fine." Like everybody's running to the grocery store to get their toilet paper and I remember like making jokes about like, "Oh, like if we run out of toilet paper, like I'll just go get some leaves from the backyard or something like that." And and then yeah, quickly like a week after that or so, you're like, "Okay, no, this is serious. Like we really do need to be figuring something out." So um, I didn't stock up on anything really. Um, and then, yeah, I wasn't sure like really how contagious it was. I don't think anybody really knew, and people were not really wearing masks at first or anything like that. And we were all kind of getting used to social distancing. So it just seemed like, I guess by like the third week of March, things really seemed to get real. And we started ordering groceries online and not going anywhere, not going into any buildings, any grocery stores, anything like that. Just started cooking a lot and going on walks, and that's about it. And then trying to stay away from people even going on walks. Um, so yeah, it was a shock. I know it was a shock for everybody.
Yes, yes, indeed. And you said this sort of led to some volunteer work that you did for restaurants around Richmond, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I was when it first really hit hard. Like it seemed like the restaurants were some of the hardest hit around here, um, and a lot of the employees obviously were like, okay, the restaurant's closing. Well, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I have no job whatsoever now, and so I think it's the Richmond, maybe the Richmond Restaurant Group that kind of put together like a fundraiser for all of the employees in the
Mm.
restaurants around Richmond and started raising money for their salaries and things like that. And they had a page where you could sign up to volunteer for anything pretty much. And I was like, I don't know how much photography can help right now, but I guess I'll just offer my services and see. And they like jumped on it right away and were like, yeah, we actually really need some photography for our new like to go orders, to go cocktails, things like that to like put on Instagram and Facebook. So I was able to do some of that for like an Indian restaurant and one for a taco restaurant um, and a couple others. So so that was nice, and I did go inside the restaurant, but like wore a mask, and then they were like cautious about how they handed me food and things like that. But I was glad I was able to do something to help.
Hmm. And you also mentioned that there was a commercial gig that actually came up shooting an Asian sauce company needed
Hmm.
your help. Can you
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit?
yeah. So this Asian sauces plant in Richmond, like kind of near the airport, contacted me. I think it was April or maybe early May. And I was super excited to get an inquiry for anything because it was just like everything had stopped. Um, and and that they said, so this is going to be a great project because it's going to be outside. We just need exterior shots. There's no people involved. Um, like, are you interested? And I was like, yeah, definitely. So um, yeah, I was able to do that like mid-May, and kind of coordinated the timing, and got them to like landscape everything and get the building all ready to go. So yeah, I just kind of could show up and shoot that. I went a couple times that day, like to get some morning shots during golden hour, and then a few evening shots, um, and delivered about three final photos for them for that. So that was definitely good to be able to do.
Hmm. And you mentioned that you've done some graduation portraits for kids who have not actually had a graduation.
Yeah, yeah. So that was great. That was another thing. I was like, I feel so sorry for all these grads who just like they couldn't even finish their senior year, and they can't even get pictures done or anything like that. So let me see about like offering some portraits or something like that for grads. So I was able to do a couple sessions of those, and I think it really made everybody happy who got their pictures taken. Like they felt like things were a little more normal, just being able to do those sessions.
And did you use like PPE? What kind of things did you do to make sure people were comfortable with those?
Yeah, yeah, good question. Yeah, so doesn't anything like indoor in a studio. A great park nearby called Maymont Park in Richmond, and it has Italian gardens, Japanese gardens. It's like acres and acres of land of all this pretty pretty backdrops. So um, I took one or like a girl and her sister. We did a session, and I took them all over Maymont, and we were able to stay at least 6 feet apart for the whole thing because um, I mean I typically shoot portraits with my 70 to 200 lens anyway, just because of the nice compression and everything like that. So it's super easy to do portraits from more than 6 feet away. And I made sure that I said that in like the sort of ad that I made beforehand on social media, saying don't worry if you want to get these portraits done, like we there's a way to do it safely. So I think people were that made them feel comfortable.
It seems like in promotion strategies and marketing, it's huge right now to help people feel calm. What's your approach been for that?
Um, I guess I just try to yeah reinforce the fact that we are able to do certain things safely. Um, there are things that still might not be as safe, and I'll tell people that like if I get an inquiry for something and they want me to come into their house or into their business, I have had to tell people. I mean, I'm either not comfortable with doing that yet, or I don't feel comfortable like say it's like a newborn session or something like that. I don't feel like coming too close to your baby because I don't know. I don't know what could happen, and I want to be safe. So I'm definitely trying to be honest with people and not just like take whatever work comes, um, but I'll tell them if I don't think that it's safe, and then I'll let them know kind of what I'm doing. Always wearing a mask, sanitizing regularly, trying to shoot everything outside if possible. So
Yeah, so it seems like outdoor photography has been something you've been doing a lot of. You said you were doing photographs for musicians outside.
yeah, yeah, a few. Yeah, well, so my boyfriend for one is a musician, and I just did a session for him to just kind of get him some pictures to put on his website and social media and things like that. And So that was a lot of fun, just kind of capturing a lifestyle session at different spots around Richmond. He had his guitar with him and things like that. And I did a session not too long ago for another musician um, who is based in Virginia Beach, and that was sort of like a lifestyle outdoor session too. We did that around the Arts District in Virginia Beach. So I've just kind of realized I really like capturing that kind of portraits for musicians because I'm big into music myself, and it's cool to like get some. I don't know if they're like edgier pictures, but just like something kind of fun and different, not so like corporatey. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm a musician myself, so I
cool.
totally get they're interesting shoots for sure.
Yeah, yeah, a
You
lot of
you have a lot of room to be creative with them, it
mm-hmm,
seems.
definitely. Yeah, I've enjoyed.
Um, and we're getting close to the end, but I just want to touch on something that you brought up at the beginning of our conversation, but just sort of like getting outside and being active and how the circumstances have forced you to sort of rediscover things about Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
What's an outdoor activity that everyone should do if they come to Richmond?
Richmond. Um, well, I feel like you have to do something related to the river because the river does go straight through our city. There's an island called Belle Isle that we have that's about 10 minutes from where I live. So it's like right in downtown, basically. Like you can see the city skyline from Belle Isle, and people love kayaking. We've got I mean, I'm not a kayaker, so I forget what our class of rapids is that we get to. I feel like it's maybe class five, like we can get to class five rapids. But so kayaking, paddleboarding on the river, hiking. We've got a pretty long hiking trail that goes around the river. So the northern part is called the North Bank Trail, and the southern part is called the Buttermilk Trail. And in total, I feel like it's like 11 or 12 miles or something like that. I could be wrong, but it's long enough that you could spend a whole day doing it. And a lot of people don't know about it. So yeah, anything river related, just go swim in the river, sit on the rocks, or do some kayaking or paddleboarding.
Cool. All right, thank you for the
Yeah.
advice. Maybe we'll have some people making trips down there
Yeah. Yeah. Richmond's
or
fun.
up, depending on where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. Everyone should go check out Caroline's photography. Her website is carolinemartinphoto.com, and you can find her on Instagram at Caroline Martin Photo as well.
Thank you guys so much.
Of course. All right. Have a nice day, Caroline.
Thank you. You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.